Would you call this some sort of victory in any way? And maybe before let me allow you to respond to that.
Okay, for me, I think it's a victory for democracy, law, and order.
Victory for democracy, law,
and order.
Why the state of emergency in Rivers? There was no loss of life, no physical destruction, so to speak, compared to what we are seeing in many states.
Well, the circumstances or the scenarios are different.
How?
If you recollect, with regards to the issue in Rivers State, the parties went to the Federal High Court. And I'm sure you are aware of the judgment of the court, declaring the acts of the governor illegal, null, and void. It went from the Federal High Court to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal also told the same stand. The Court of Appeal even had very strong words for the dictatorial actions of the governor, that the governor was behaving like the lord of the manor, that this is a democracy and not a jungle. And from the Court of Appeal, it went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, as far as the Supreme Court was concerned, there was no democratic governance in Rivers State. So when you talk about Benue and Plateau State, you also understand that the state is fighting a war against criminals. And in fighting that war, there will be casualties on both sides.
Over 200 lives?
Pardon?
Over 200 lives lost.
Well, the 200 lives that have been lost, you cannot, point to the fact that the states abdicated its responsibility, and went to sleep.
So what that of Rivers is what?
The Rivers State, I told you the Rivers State was a political crisis.
So it's more political than even security?
No, the Rivers State crisis even was moving from political to a national economic crisis. When you see, is when somebody tells you that we are going to give the boys order way to strike, and before you say Jack Robinson, oil pipelines are being bombed, and you know that oil is the lifestay of the Nigerian economy. So the crisis in Rivers State was gradually degenerating to become something that will affect all and sundry in Nigeria, not only in Rivers State. And even with the way it was going then, if Mr. President had not intervened, that bombing of pipelines might even result to total one-time destruction of lives and properties under the guise of renovating it, and even an attempt to go and bring down the legislative quarters of the legislators that was, and the executive under Governor Fubara had to make a retreat. So the situation in Rivers State was not one that the state had shown unwillingness to tackle. But the case in Rivers State was one in which the state was the engineer, the